Hello and welcome back. If you follow the channel, you know that we recently went through a pile of boxes that had been accumulating while we were so busy with our Apollo Comms equipment restoration. In there were many treasures, including an IBM Tester Blinken Lights machine, a National Instruments serial to GPIB converter complete with manuals and cables donated by viewer Peter House, an HP 4957A protocol analyzer that we already repaired, and a mystery device that was hidden in a suitcase. That device is a Texas Instruments Silence 703, a Teletypes style printing terminal. You've already seen my Teletypes and they sound like this, or like this. But this one not only promises to be whisper quiet, but also work at the blazing speed of 300 bauds, almost 3 times the speed of my previous speed demon, the ASR 33. The Texas Instruments Series 700 line was introduced in 1972 and originally was not that small nor cute. But look, it is portable, only 25 pounds. Look how relaxed that lady is. Not portable? Portable. Advantage TI. That one worked over the telephone at the incredible speed of 30 characters per second. That's right, even slower than the Model 19. But wait, it did print silently. Yes, no noise, thanks to a thermal printing mechanism. Progress, folks, progress. My favorite in this early lineup is the Silence 733 ASR. Shamelessly named after the Teletypes 33 ASR, it has 2 cassettes which imitate the perforated paper capability of the Teletype. This thing was a humongous beast. Fast forward to 1983 and they still make these, but it's small and cute and truly portable now, and it works at 300 bauds. There are 2 versions, the 707 that has a 300 bauds modem and can only be connected to a phone line, and the 703, the model I have, that has a regular RS-232 port for connection to a computer. And I just turned on the TI Silence 703 for the first time and I think it works with doing nothing to it. Let's try it again. Print 703, paper advance. Hello. How are you doing today? Return, line feed. By the way, note how the head moves out of the way to let you see the characters you typed, then goes back into position. Oh, except I did curious instead of curious. There's supposed to be a test. Command T. Oh, very nice. And it is really silent. Okay, let's see if we can get it to talk over RS-232. With RS-232, particularly one that will require a hardware handshake because it's very slow, I have to choose the right cable. If I use that one, okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight through, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 not connected, 20 connected, and then that's it. Okay, so it's just the basic hardware handshake are connected straight through. On the side of my nice little patch panel on the side, and I can actually switch anything to anything if I wanted, so we can either plug it here and then it's straight, or you can plug it here and you disable whatever straight connections there is and then repatch them to whatever you want. So supposedly you'll always manage to do a connection no matter what your cable is. So let's try this. Oh man, let's see if I can get a better view than this. Okay, and I'm shooting this at 10 frames per second so you don't get the flicker on the screen here. Setup. Protocol. I think it's ASCII 7. Here is definitely 300. Monitor. Nope, not I can get. Oh, because I'm not online. Okay, I don't have all the lines I should have here, so no communication here. Let's try to go into VT100. Execute. Ah, okay, so that's better. All my lines are enabled. Oh, okay. We receive something, but not the right thing. So there is something wrong here. Parity even. $300, right? Should not be. Okay, it's not very convincing so far. I managed to get the line ready by setting all the leads on. That's my little simulate program here. I turn CTS, DSRs and CD on, so you have controls of all the lines. And then if I run it, all the leads are turned on, but if I make the display in hex, I'm getting 7 Fs. Ignore the inverted ones, what I'm sending back. 7E, 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 7F, 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 7E, 7F. It varies. Let me put a scope on that thing. And look how convenient that is. That's all you need to patch in the signal. And it looks like my terminal is working fine. I get all different characters. And then if I look, let's look at what I'm sending back. Oh, baud rate completely different. So we have a baud rate problem. I thought I set it up correctly. 300 bits per second. Okay, and then when I am responding, it is 1 to 3.5, so I'm 3 times too slow. So it should be at 1200. Run, simulate. Ah, there you go. Okay, we got it. VT100. Execute. And then, alright, we got it. Let me read the manual again. Yeah, sees it right there. It's 300 baud. So I bet you that terminal is not an original one or the usual one. That terminal is at 1200 baud for some reason. It's an upgraded or late generation one that's faster. Huh, that's quite interesting. What the heck did I get? I got a... It's overclocked. It says 703 data terminal AT&T. They advertise 300 baud. It's 1200. Strange. I wonder if there's an option inside to switch between 300 and 1200 baud, although it's, from what I can tell, it's the microprocessor itself, which is a Texas Instrument processor, of course, who controls everything. So it's the microprocessor UART So it's software controlled, if I understand well. Press the two top cover assembly releases in the front of the base assembly. Yes, I see them right here. And the top cover releases, here we go. And voila! I can unplug it from this side instead. Here we go. So I know these are the switches to set the default printing width when it turns on. I forgot to mention there are two printing width settings, the normal one that prints 80 characters per line and the compressed one that does 132 characters per line, like an IBM mainframe printer. Shift Control Return will switch between the two, but you can set the power on default with the little configuration switches. And the parity, right now it's on even. I don't see any other switches. Okay, it says unplug the motor. Voila. Press the locking tabs of the board supports and lift the rear edge of the control panel. Oh, there are those things here. Oh, I hate those things. This and this. You got it. I need to take that out. Alright. And it looks like the print mechanism just lifts straight out of there. It does. Absolutely. Plunk. And alright. So there it is. Silent 703, a little bit of torn paper. Looks in good shape if you ask me. So no, that would be the processor, I imagine. That's the PROM. So that's where my option must be. Probably want to dump it. That's the control for the contrast, but that works fine. Okay, well, nothing to see. And that's what it is. I think to change the speed you got to change the software in the PROM. So upon further review, they did actually make in the later years a 1200 baud version of this machine. It was called the Silent 700/1200. So there was a 703/1200 and a 707/1200. But this is not what this machine says. If you look at the back, it says model 703, not 703/1200. And so I don't know what this is. This is definitely a later machine, made in 1993. Goodness, they were still making those in 1993. Maybe they still make those today. And it's not as simple as a board swap, right? Because in order to make it work at 1200 baud, the difficulty was to get the printer to keep up with this crazy 1200 baud speed. So they had to invent a head that would print 2 characters at a time, which is what I think I have. So somebody would have replaced all the innards of the machine. That seems improbable. And also on the 1200, one of the little configuration switches here, the one at the top, is supposed to switch it between 300 and 1200, and then when I try mine, it does nothing. So this is a machine that's not marked correctly, that doesn't quite behave as it should, but it obviously is a 1200 version that's somehow mismatched with what's on it and how it behaves. Not that I'm complaining about it, I got a screamer. Okay, so now it's time to connect it to something like a regular computer or a regular RS-232. And it's a little more complicated than you'd think. This machine is very picky about the hardware line, as you saw. What you have to do is do a little bit of RS-232 gymnastics. So the usual ones is that 2 goes to 3 and 3 goes to 2. So you have to crosswire TX and RX. But as you've seen before, it's very picky with the command lines. It wants that clear to send is on, dataset ready is on, and carrier detect is on. So pins 5, 6, and 8. So the easy way to do that is connect 4 to 5. So when it sends a request to send, it sends it to itself and it says clear to send. So you do that condition over here, and then you also assert the carrier detect, and you do that in the other direction, that as soon as the terminal is ready to send, which is all the time for a modern computer, it will assert the carrier detect. And then the only handshake that will really count is DTR to DSR, data terminal ready, would just tell data send ready, so that would assert that one. And data terminal ready is basically I'm on. And you do that in the other direction. So you end up with this serial hookup, which I have an example of right here. So this is exactly what this is. And this is just a 25 to 9 adapter. So one end is this, the other end is that. So converts between two formats. That should talk. So here on my serial port, all I need is to have 1200 baud, 7-bit ASCII, not 8, even parity, that's how I set up this one, and hardware and handshake. And now this you should be able to have a nice conversation with the other end. You go, hello, subscribe to CuriousMarc, and return, and line feed. This one needs both. Here and say, hey, I have already done that. Right, so now that we can connect it to another DTE, let's do something fun with it, like control HPIB instruments thanks to the serial to GPIB box that Peter House just sent to me. Thank you, Peter. And on the other end, I have put my Panaplex displays, my HP Panaplex displays. I'm going to write the same thing on all three displays. So write, and I'm going to use 10 characters on 1, 2, and 3. Those are the GPIB address of the three devices. Line feed, and we are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Line feed. There you go, and you have this beautiful Panaplex displays. Look at those guys. How neat. And you can write more than one number on them. Number 10, 2, line feed, 2.22 space 1, 2, 3, 4. Line feed, there you go. So here you have it, controlling GPIB instrument with the little TI silent 703. By the way, I was just thinking, with Peter's box we should be able to do some really silly things with something that's not so silent. Right, 10 characters, down 10 to 1, 2, and 3. Line feed, and let's write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. we go! GPIB from the Teletype, hey? With one box that went crazy in the meantime. Hello. Oh, well. Whoa! Well, we have two boxes that cannot work and one box that has a Mac of its own.